Surgery was a rotation we all enjoyed a lot. Each morning we went up to the hospital. For the first 2 weeks we scrubbed in, and then we were in the pre-op and post-op room, so we got to see people getting, prepared to go get a colonoscopy, go get a surgery. And we also saw people coming out of surgery, getting out of their anesthesia. So that was really interesting. And then for the next 4 weeks or so, depending on the rotation, we were actually able to see surgeries, like from close, really close. Doctors were really good talking to us through the whole thing. It's definitely an experience most high schoolers never get to see, or never just think about seeing. It definitely was a experience that I will take with me in college and in the future. And next year, whoever, surgery is an awesome rotation. You guys are gonna have a great time. I saw a lot of really cool stuff, but what really stands out to me still is I got to see a knee replacement. And I didn't expect to be able to go into the room, because when you're cutting open joints and stuff, it's got to be super sanitary, and they usually don't let students scrub in. But the doctor was willing to let me in, so that was really awesome, especially since my dad had his knee replaced about 8 years ago. I was always curious as to what exactly that was. But it was just pretty surreal seeing them just cut right into a knee, hammer at it like it's some wood. I enjoyed the whole thing. I could see myself maybe doing that one day.
In the emergency department, we would get there every morning at 7:40 and go directly to the nurses' station. And from there, they allowed us to go into any room that we wanted and whichever nurse that we wanted to follow. From there, we saw the entire diagnostic process, from the patient explaining what brought them there, to the nurses getting their vitals, and then eventually the doctor coming in and diagnosing the patient. And it was a really cool experience because you never really knew what you're gonna see that day. And I really enjoyed it, and so did everyone else. The most interesting thing I saw in the emergency room was a patient having a STEMI heart attack. I got to see the diagnosis of it, and then the flight medics coming in, and I also got to go out with him onto the helipad and watch the helicopter take off. Thankfully he is okay. I learned that the next day, so it was definitely a memorable experience that I will never forget.
In radiology, we got to spend time in X-ray, CT, ultrasound, mammo, not for Sam. We were able to spend time with different techs, and at the end of all of our rotations, we spent time with radiologists, and we were able to see them read scans and go through patients, and it was really interesting. My favorite part of the practicum experience was getting to see a cholecystectomy, which is just a gallbladder removal, and I got to see that during my second week of the practicum, and that opened my eyes to surgery and made me realize that I want to be a surgeon.
In physical therapy, we got to build relationships with patients, and initially we saw x-rays and their scans, then we went on to surgery, and then we got to see the whole recovery process in PT, and you see the same patients every week. By building relationships with the patients, we were able to be more involved in their personal lives, and all the patients enjoyed seeing us working with the physical therapist, and the physical therapists were very informative and welcoming. So my favorite experience in the practicum was definitely in surgery. I was able to see a foot surgery with Dr. Vargo, and she was very informative, and she walked me through the entire surgery for the time I was there, and it was just really cool being in the OR, watching the surgery up close.
Every day we wrote about our experiences in journals and came together on Fridays for a group discussion. The journals allowed us to have our thoughts organized when we presented to our peers. The journals are a good way of remembering everything we saw during each rotation and allowed us to go more in depth with our medical terminology.